Today we're going to be converting your original NES and SNES controllers into wireless controllers with the help of the 8BitDo wireless mod kit and the 8BitDo retro receiver. What's going on, guys? SeeJayAre here today with a pretty interesting little video. A while back, 8BitDo released these wireless controller mod kits. You can find them on Amazon. I think they're like 20 bucks. Super cheap option into getting a wireless controller, taking your original controllers and converting them into wireless controllers with a pretty simple process, which we're gonna go through here. I'm just gonna do it kind of right out of the box. I haven't looked anything up, but I've heard that it's just a matter of swapping the boards. Sounds pretty simple, but we'll go through the process together. As well as we're gonna take a look at the retro receivers from 8BitDo. I've had these for a little while, been meaning to get to a video on them. These basically plug right into the front of your NES and original NES and SNES. But I'm sure these would work with clone consoles, Retron 5s. Now, you wouldn't really need them for those because I'm pretty sure that these guys work directly with consoles like the Retron. Once you convert them to the wireless option, they will work with a whole bunch of different consoles. So yeah, it'll work with your Nintendo Switch, Windows, Android, Mac OS, Steam, I believe mobile, and I'm pretty sure they work on the Retron just out of the box. So we are going to open these guys up. I'm going to switch cameras here so you guys can follow the process along with me. It's supposed to be pretty simple, so hopefully it's a pretty easy process, but I thought it'd be interesting to kind of go through that process with you. I'll leave a link in the description below for 8BitDo's website. Thank you to 8BitDo for sending these products out. I've done several videos before on 8BitDo products, and they never disappoint. So we are going to put the boards in and then we'll test them out and see how they work. Okay, so I'm going to do my best to operate both cameras here. We are going to start with the NES. As you can see, I've got my favorite controller here. This is my controller with my Nintendo Power sticker on it. Absolutely love this controller. I have my alcohol here with a few Q-tips, isopropyl alcohol, 70%. I'm not too worried about. I just want to tidy them up, maybe clean up a couple of the screw holes here. And yeah, so we're going to pop this kit open. I'll show on this camera here. Anyways, so this is what it looks like when you get your kit. Okay, so we've got some instructions right off the bat, just showing you how to remove the screws. Step 2 is place the old board in the anti-static bag, put the new board in, and screw it together. It should be that simple. So sounds like a very simple process. We'll set the instructions here, and here we have the board itself and the anti-static bag. Now I'm guessing we're gonna have to charge this guy up once it's together, so. Okay. Set our board here. Okay, and that's great. We actually get the screwdriver that is needed, which is, I think, just standard Phillips. USB charging cable here, and no power brick, which is very common these days. Okay, so let's go to work on taking these screws out. Wow, okay, so you can see one whole entire screw well has broken off of the back of this controller. Okay, from here all we do is fish this wire out carefully, remove the old board. I would go ahead and clean up the old contacts here. I have some new rubber on the way for the NES. As you can see, I have some here for the Super NES, which I will use. These buttons are absolutely disgusting. So what I'm actually going to do right now is take apart the Super Nintendo controller as well, and then I'm going to go clean off these buttons, and then we'll come back and assemble it with the board. So, same screwdrivers used for this one, but you also get one in the Super Nintendo mod kit. So we'll just go ahead and use this guy. Okay. Okay, so be sure you do not lose this metal pin. It's needed for the left and right buttons. You can see it slides right in here, so the button can kind of swing and pivot. Put all those inside this controller. Now again, you've got to fish out your wire here carefully. And you can hold on to these boards. You may need one down the road for a broken controller to swap out with. So put that aside and save it for later. Okay, so we are going to pull out the rubber, and we're actually going to replace this rubber with some new rubber. These are pretty worn down, and it's lost that kind of tactile clicky feel. All right, so we're going to take all these parts and put them in some soapy water. Now, I think it's okay to clean these. Just don't scrub the metallic contacts here. It's okay to rinse them though with soapy water, as long as you're careful not to rub off the black part. So yeah, just be a little bit aware of that. But I haven't really had any issues with cleaning these previously. We're gonna get these nice and clean, and then we'll be back. We're now ready to reassemble. I've cleaned off the buttons decently well. So we're gonna first make sure that the buttons are placed back into position, as well as the rubber contact pads. Okay. All right, so next up, we're going to just simply follow these directions. We are now on step 3. We've removed the original board, and we're just going to place it with that orientation, with the buttons piece down. And basically, you just want to make sure, and the battery, it shows you here, this is what it's pointing to right here is the battery, the internal rechargeable battery. So it just shows you the proper orientation. Looks very simple. Let's see. So basically you just place the board. There's pegs that it goes on, so you can't really mess this up. It's pretty simple. So once we have our backing on here, I would recommend putting in a few screws and testing the unit out before you fully tighten and put all the screws back on here, just to make sure everything's working before you go ahead and close it up. These guys are very old, and the plastic can become a little bit brittle. Feels pretty good with a new board in there. It's pretty much unnoticeable. Feels the same as it did with the original controllers. So that's what it looks like complete. This guy here is your charging port and your indicator light. All right, so let's open up the board for the SNES controller. And same deal, you get the instructions off the top, very simple stuff. And then we've got the board inside the bag, as well as the charger and a screwdriver for the job. So let's go ahead and put this guy in. Once we've got all our buttons and rubber contacts back in, we need to do, I still need to do these guys here. So this should be, yeah. Everything's clearly marked on the back side of the SNES controllers, which is super nice. There's a little R to let you know that this is where the right bumper button goes. It just slides into place. The little pin will hold. Okay, looks pretty good. Next up, we're going to insert the board. Again, you want the contact pads here to match these little black pads there. Okay, so be a little careful with these wires here. You don't want them to come unsoldered. So I would drop the board in, and then basically these guys slide in between the board like that, and they'll be held in place. Then when you click the button, it'll make contact. Sorry, my fingers are kind of hiding that, but pretty simple stuff. Okay, we've got our shell back on. One of the left trigger pad here was kind of sticking out for me, so it was a little tougher than I expected. So now, as I said before with the NES controller, I would put maybe 2 screws into this to make sure everything works before you fully close it all up. Okay, and there you can see, once again, feels great. I'm really happy that I put that new rubber in there. Feels fantastic and looks great. You can see the controller LED is blinking, which means it's searching for a receiver or whatever device you plan on using it for. So that is the SNES controller, which has now been converted to wireless. Very cool. All right, guys, so the final step here is to test our newly made wireless controllers with the original systems themselves and the retro adapter. So we're gonna pop this guy into our original NES. Now, make sure that your retro adapters are updated to the latest firmware. At the time of this video, that's 1.31, which allows pairing with the kits. So we're gonna pop this guy in, turn on our NES, switch inputs. Okay, and the pairing instructions are right on this piece of paper that comes with it. Very simple process. You push start and B to turn the controller on. You'll see the LED blinking there. That doubles as your power connector too. So very cool innovation there. Then we are going to push pair on the retro receiver and hold select until the light starts blinking fast. And just like that, we are connected once it's a solid blue. Seems to be working quite well. Okay. Looks like everything's working nicely. Pause. Looks great. Works fantastic. Just like the original. Very nice. Alright guys, thank you so much for joining me for this video, and big thanks to 8BitDo for sending out these wireless mod kits. Like I said, there will be a link in the description below to check them out, but you can find them pretty much anywhere. Amazon, think Best Buy, but I'm pretty sure Amazon sells them. I think they're around 20 bucks a piece. So very simple process, a little bit of fiddling to get everything to fit back together snug and tighten them up, but other than that, it's probably like a 15-minute process to do one of these guys. Once you do one, it's much easier to do another one, obviously, but I am very happy with the product and a pretty cost-effective way to get yourself some wireless controllers, whether that's for, you know, your SNES Classic or the original hardware themselves with the retro adapters, which are absolutely fantastic. Anyways, guys, if you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, and until the next episode.